talk to you. So
Hey everyone, it's Katie from Without a Crystal Ball. Welcome back to my channel. I hope you're having a wonderful day. It's Wednesday, May 18th. It's the middle of May. May 18th. Almost June 3rd. Does everyone remember June 3rd? From Gilmore Girls, Lorelai and Luke were supposed to get married on June 3rd, but they didn't get married on June 3rd, remember? So on June 3rd, everyone watched Gilmore Girls. Okay, that's ridiculous. That's just something I love. I love the Gilmore Girls. Do you have a show that you love? Tell me what your favorite guilty pleasure show is. Mine is Gilmore Girls. Okay, so last night was the season premiere of Little People Big World, season 23. This show has come a long way, you guys, like a seriously long way. This show is nothing like it used to be, and it's not the family that we once knew. In fact, the family is so drastically different, I don't even know what I'm watching half the time. We have Amy and Chris, who are off in La La Land because they're happy newlyweds. We've got Tori and Zach, who I'm not totally sure what their occupations are outside of this reality show, and Matt and Caryn, who are life partners, but Caryn seems to run the farm. Got it? Okay, these are my opinions. Some of you really love Matt. I'm sorry if I'm hard on Matt. Sometimes Matt, his whole demeanor rubs me the wrong way. Don't sue me. Last night's episode came after a ton of social media drama and a lot of buildup to this season premiere. We knew leading up to this, we were going to be exploring this fallout between Zach and his dad related to the farm. Last season, it ended with Tori and Zach considering buying the farm. Zach had been sort of wishy-washy about the show, about the farm for a very long time, and he had always said that it was going to go to Jeremy. And for years, everyone assumed Jeremy was going to buy the farm. Turns out Jeremy was unable to come to a deal with his dad, and that comes down to money. Because Matt doesn't look at the farm as inheritance. Instead, Matt looks at the farm as business and as a transaction, and he's a negotiator.
Zach came in real hot, you know. He didn't come in to negotiate, you know. He came in to demand.
They always say to not mix family with business or friends with business because families and businesses or friends and businesses always seem to have a falling out. It's hard to have boundaries when you're in business with your family, and it's hard to know what to expect. So if one parent if someone's walking into it as business and others walking in as family, it's never going to end well.
Tori and me as adults can't put ourselves in a toxic situation like that. It's unhealthy.
Matt has, as most of you can tell, monetized his family and seen his business as his family or family as his business. He's used his family and his children to gain wealth and to gain fame. Over the years, most of his kids have left the show, with some of them actually being very critical about what happens on the show and calling most of what happens on the show fake.
Jeremy had made an offer on the farm a while ago, but him and my dad couldn't reach an agreement, so I knew it wasn't going to be easy.
I just want to sort of temper things to remind you that this is reality television and we don't always know all of the details. So on last night's episode, we kind of get I'm not going to be doing a full recap. So if you're looking for a recap, I'm sorry. We're going to really just talk about the dispute between Zach and his dad. And before we do me a favor and make sure that you give this video a thumbs up. Also, make sure if you haven't subscribed yet to subscribe to my channel, and make sure you turn the notifications on so you know when I go live or new content loads. So in last night's episode, let's talk. Zach and Tori, who I'm still not quite sure what they do besides being on the show, which, by the way, being on a reality show is a job, but if you want to make it look like you actually have a life outside of the show, Zach and Tori haven't really shown us too much of what they do for employment. I think Tori's a photographer here and there, and I know that Zach had helped out his dad at the farm. I know he does tours at the farm, and I know he's helped his dad at the farm, but I don't know what kind of employment he's had outside of Little People Big World or the farm. For years, we all assumed that Jeremy was going to take over the farm. He doesn't take over the farm. That leaves Zach, who, for, I don't even know, a storyline. I don't know, I'm just kidding. Zach decides that he's going to make an offer on the farm. This is after Amy and Matt had a very tense couple years fighting about the farm. So if you remember, there was this huge drama between Amy and Matt about the buyout, and Amy was very pressured, and she actually felt really like frustrated by his timeline, and he really wanted to push her out. And she felt like he wanted to push her out. And Amy last night even made a comment that Matt is a negotiator, but the problem is that Matt wants to negotiate and be business with family, and you can't negotiate with family. Like, I'm your wife, I was your wife, Zach is your son, that kind of thing. For Amy's part, she wants to sort of stay out of this, and she wants to not get involved, but she said she understands why Zach and Matt would have a falling out, because Matt does have a hard time actually having sort of empathy or understanding that like not everything in life is about business. So Zach said that his dad and he had been talking about about him buying the north half of the farm, which Zach claimed entailed 30 acres, which included the woods, there was a pond, and several of the buildings that are part of Roloff Farms, but some of them that needed a lot of maintenance.
The north side of the property is the north 30 acres that my mom and dad shared for the last couple of years. So the north side has my favorite parts of the farm. Like Jackson and me really love playing in the forest, the creek area, the pond.
It also included the barn and the house. And Zach said that the home was ideal because it was dwarf friendly. It was already like sized for someone of his size, and he has 2 children that are also have the same form of dwarfism as him. So Zach was keen to buy the property, but he stated right off the bat that he knew that he didn't have the capital or the amount of money that his dad was going to ask for. So when he went into this, he thought that he was going into a negotiation with his dad about purchasing the farm as part of a legacy and as a part of the inheritance. Unfortunately for Matt, Matt said that he has 3 other children, and so he can't be looking at giving Zach part of an inheritance that he's not giving to other kids. Matt claims he gave him a healthy discount and also gave him equity. And the way that they talked about the money side of it is that Zach said that when he walked into the negotiations, he evaluated what his mom had been bought out by his dad. So his dad bought out Amy for like $975,000 a couple years ago. Zach went in with that in mind, but he said that his dad came in with a number that was way higher than that, and he was actually shocked by that because he felt like the appreciation for the farm wasn't that, like, it shouldn't have gone up that much. And if we're going to be completely honest, he's selling the property for $4 million, which means the appreciation has gone up like 300%. That's a lot. That's not normal appreciation. But again, I don't know what property is selling for in the area, and I don't know how well this house is going to sell because, again, the house is like built for someone who is of a short stature. Because the price was so high, Zach got like upset because he knew that he couldn't afford it, and his dad wasn't willing to negotiate. He also said that his dad wouldn't sell him the 30 acres because he told him that he didn't have like what it takes to run the farm. So he was going to give him just 15 acres along with the house. Zach said that he felt offended by his father, who didn't believe in him that he could actually run the farm. Matt claims that Zach wanted him to still maintain everything on his side and do all of the work, and Zach would just get his side and still expect his dad to do all the work. At no point did we hear Zach actually say that he expected his dad to do all the work. So in that capacity, I don't really know what Zach's position was. Both Tori and Zach mentioned that Matt got very angry and he spoke very aggressively towards Zach. Tori even said that she never wants to hear someone ever talk to her husband like that again. Caryn somehow got involved in the middle of this, which a lot of fans thought was really offensive because, first of all, they're not married. Now, if you have a partner that you have been in a long-term relationship with and you are doing things in life together, that's one thing. But Caryn does not own any of Roloff Farms. She's not an owner of Roloff Farms. She doesn't at this point, they don't have shared property together. So Zach and Tori didn't really understand why Caryn was there making decisions. He said that Caryn was speaking for his dad, which he didn't like. He said if his dad had something to say, his dad should have said it.
My dad raised his voice first because I wasn't just allowing him to tell me what I should feel. Just who Tori said, he's a businessman, Zach, what do you expect? I expected him to be a grandpa.
Matt justified having Caryn there because Caryn's his life partner. Caryn got kind of snarky and said that Zach wasn't really going into this as being a farmer. He wanted this as a lifestyle. And both of Caryn and Matt are of the opinion that none of the kids have what it takes to run the farm. Can you imagine putting your heart into something and like you tell your dad, I want to buy the farm, and then your dad's like, you just don't have what it takes. You're not good enough. You won't do it like me. How does Matt even know if he sells the property that the other person that buys the 15 acres has what it takes? Now that it's in an open market, Matt doesn't have the ability to evaluate and say, well, are you gonna run it the same way that I would? Not to mention he's gonna be sharing that property like with someone else, and because Matt's selling it, it's like Matt will probably feel a sense of ownership. Wouldn't you have preferred to have family next door rather than some strangers that you can't control? Hello?
Do you want to make money off your own family? Or is it like, do you want this legacy that you've preached about for 10 years? And no one knows. No one knows now. Caryn is the one that said, this is over. Yeah, so we left.
Anyways, Zach was offended that his dad said that he didn't have what it takes. And Caryn and Matt basically said that none of the kids have what it takes. They don't know what it takes. It's not a lifestyle. It's a lot of work, blah, 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 blah. Long story short, because of this, Zach says that his dad is trying to make money off of his family after he's claimed that this was going to be the family legacy for years. Suddenly, he's trying to monetize everything and asks an obscene amount for the farm, and then tells Zach he doesn't have the capabilities to run the farm. Matt says Zach doesn't have what it takes, and this isn't about business. This isn't about family. This is about business. Zach also said that he was really upset with his dad because he walked into the negotiation thinking it was a father and son, and that, you know, knowing that his grandson really loved the farm. And so he was expecting his dad to be like the grandfather that he knows that he is, that loves Jackson. And so he was telling him, like, what does it actually, like, there's value in seeing your grandson love this property. There's value in your grandsons being close to you and your grandchildren being close to you and growing up around you. You know, and Matt thought that it was like horrible that Zach would use his children as a tool for negotiations for business, which, let me just say right off the bat, the irony is not lost on me that he's mad at Zach for using his children to manage business, but yet that's all Matt's done for the 20 plus years they've been, or 10 plus years they've been on reality television. And anyone that can't see that, come on. Who has used their kids more than anyone on reality television? Matt. He's monetized the family. So, I don't know. Whenever you mix family and business, it's a mess. Either way, Matt has a point that there's money to be made, and he's looking at this from a financial standpoint. He also has a point that if he gives the property away, he has other children. He has other children that he needs to consider. But on Zach's side of the house, if he's expecting that his dad had a word when he said that this was going to be a legacy and that they were doing this as a family, for the greater of the family, so that they could pass it on, then he's, you know, and he doesn't live up to that word, and he feels like his dad is trying to make money off of him, I can understand why he would be frustrated. I can also understand why he would feel frustrated that his dad says that he doesn't have what it takes. Conversely, if Zach doesn't have what it takes and his dad says that and it's the truth, sometimes the truth sucks. You know what I'm saying? Either way, I don't know what Zach and Tori's actual, if they were super interested in this or if they weren't, because they rebounded really quickly. Within, I don't even know how long, they don't get the farm. They find a house and they decide to move 45 minutes away. Matt felt like they were almost being punished. Like, I didn't get the farm, so I'm going to take the kids and move, and you're not going to have access to them. I mean, of course he would think that. But Zach and Tori had also already been considering this area. Tori's from Washington. She has friends in that area. So they end up finding a house that they feel suits their needs. It's on 2 acres of land. Everything is on a single story, which works for Zach and the kids because of their short stature. And at the end of the day, they're happy with their choice of moving. That choice of moving causes Matt to really have no reaction at all and says that it's maybe a good thing that they didn't get the farm because they ended up getting what they wanted. Fans on Twitter were upset. A lot of people were mad that Caryn was getting involved in the family. A lot of people were mad that Caryn was making snarky comments about Zach and Tori. And other people were saying that Zach was acting entitled and he's lazy and he needs to get a job. So whether you're on Zach's side or on Matt's side, the common denominator in most of the disputes with this are that Matt views the family as a business, and he also views business as a business. And he has spent the better part of 20 years monetizing that. When you have real human emotions involved in that, money can ruin families. Greed can ruin families. Maybe Zach just wanted to have a heart-to-heart with his dad and wanted a dad to say, I believe in you and you can do this. And Matt looked at this as an opportunity to make money. I don't think there's a winner on either side. I see Zach's point and I also see Matt's point. I used to be on just Zach's side, but I kind of see both sides. Like, he has a right, Matt has a right to feel how he feels. He owns the property. He doesn't have to give away anything. Zach has a right to feel like his dad has exploited him and is continuing to exploit him. But in the same breath, Zach and Tori also have their kids on reality television. So can they really talk about making their kids, making them money? And then they put Jackson in the middle of it by having Jackson tell Matt and Caryn that they were moving. And, I just think that was kind of tacky. Like, why would you have Jackson tell them that you're moving? Can't you have an adult conversation with your dad and let them know that you're moving? But Zach said that he thought it would break the tension. Caryn and Matt were not amused. So the feud rages on. There's still, Zach was posting, shady comments to his dad. I would say the love is still not good between them, or the blood is still not good between them, but they are family, and families do have a tendency to recover. So it looks to be an interesting season. I'm not sure if this feud will continue to rise, but obviously Matt and Zach continue to be on rough terms as of today. So what are your thoughts about this? Tell me in the comments below. Bye, guys.